Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM19 story. The head coach with me, Daniel. It's season 12, episode 10, and today we're back for one of the biggest games of the series so far, as we've got two chances of winning the Serie A title. We're playing Frosinone in a couple of hours' time, a side that have already been relegated from the league with just 25 points in 36 games, but before that Inter play their game at 6 o'clock, and if they don't win the match, realistically with our goal difference, we're already champions. If they lose, it will be confirmed as champions pre-match, but I'll be very surprised if we don't get the result we need. I know pressure can do funny things to teams, but we've only lost 2 games all year, so I've really got faith in these boys to finish the job and bring us the big trophy in Italy. But first, if you didn't see the last episode, please do go back and check it out. We played the Italian Cup final against Lazio, so if you don't want to spoil us to the result, then do go back and see that one before we move on in this episode. If we do win the league today, which I really hope we will, it would be deserved based on the season so far. The most remarkable thing for me this year, in 36 games we've conceded 12 goals, the best record in the league. We've scored 67, which is also the best in the division. It's a slightly lower score in League Italy, but we've been the pick of the bunch, which is great. We've got the best disciplinary record too, least yellow cards and no red cards. 23 yellow cards is about 1 in 2 games as well, which is absolutely fantastic. And we've got the second highest average attendance too, so the fans are really on board with what we're doing. We've got the top goal scorer in the division in Gerardo. He's got 20 in the league. Ismail Assar's been sensational, and Diogo Bras has loads of assists. La Rocca's been a brilliant signing in central midfield, so well done director of football for that one. And we've also applied for our first job for the summer, but I'm not going to show you that till after the game. I'm deliberately avoiding it so you don't get the spoiler, but I'm going to show you the job that's available and what we've applied for once we've wrapped up the title. So let's go first to look at Inter's game. If we go to Serie A, you can see the matches are put into 2 bunches today. Inter are going away to 17th place Benevento. That's a 6 o'clock kickoff, and then if they do their job there, it's all focus on us at 8:30 as we play at home to an already relegated side. So let's go through the first lot of fixtures and see if Inter do the job for us. We're just waiting for it to come back. There's 5 games to be played, so it might take a little while, but we're not quite sure what's going to happen. We've done the double, so they must have not won the game. They must have lost it as well, because they were only 4 points behind, and this message wouldn't come up otherwise. Have Inter lost to Benevento? It's given away which job we've applied for, but we've done the job now, so it doesn't really matter too much. Let's go and have a look. They lost 6-1. Inter Milan lost 6-1 at Benevento. They've kept Benevento up with that result. What on earth has gone on there? I recognise nearly all the names in the team. They're pretty much their first 11. What the hell has happened? Can someone please explain that to me? Is that just nerves getting to them? They went 1-0 down after 3 minutes. They were back on level term after 6, and they just absolutely collapsed. I'm really surprised by that. We have won the domestic double. It's not really the best way to do it, but we're not going to complain about that. Though I'm a little bit surprised they lost 6-1. I cannot explain what's happened there. That is very, very strange. But we have won the league, so let's focus on our lads. We won the Premier League last season with Newcastle, our first major domestic title, and we've done it 2 years in a row now with Napoli, and we're going to try and make it 3 next year. We'll deal with the other messages about that in a moment, but as you can see now, the job we've applied for, RB Leipzig in Germany. They've been a really big side over there. They won the title last year, but have had a disappointing season this time, and they've always been up in the league in recent years, between 5th and 6th place. So they have got a decent side. 5th place I'd imagine gets them in the Europa League, so hopefully we'd have European football next year, and it'd be a team worth taking on. We'd obviously like one of the monsters if we could. The likes of the top 3 there, Bayern Munich, Dortmund or Schalke, but we're not quite sure if that will happen yet. But Leipzig is a good starting point with their worldwide reputation. As it stands, it's the only job available in Germany or Spain at the top end of the table, so we might have to take that one at the moment. But we've done another brilliant job here. Will it enhance our reputation winning Serie A? I'm not sure if it will. It's just stayed the same for now, but we can't complain about that. 1 season in Italy and a domestic double to follow. It means we can relax now. We're going to play the Frosinone game off camera, and we'll come back for the game against Empoli on the last day of the season, as well as our end of year review. But let's quickly look at these messages first. We're now one of the top English managers in the Hall of Fame. We're up to 7th place on 832 points. All of our trophies coming in the last 4 years after we recovered following an awful start to our career, sackings at Hemel Hempstead and Dungannon Swifts, and Slough Town gave us the springboard to succeed. We really owe them so much for this, and in the last 4 years you can see what we've won: the Premier League and Serie A, the Italian Cup, the Europa League, the European Super Cup and Community Shield. The only one that was missing was the FA Cup, so we'll just have to focus on the FA Cup in our other series where we're trying to take Torquay to the top of English football. But I'm delighted with how things are going, and I never would have expected that, as we got sacked from our second job in the middle of season 2. We've been praised by the supporters after joining and taking them to the top. The board are happy with us, of course they are. They haven't won a trophy for 7 years, and now they've won 2 in 2 weeks. We've got fitness tests for the game today which we're not worried about, so we'll go and play that one off camera, and we'll be back in a moment for the final game of the season, and maybe an interview with Leipzig in the meantime. Okay, following a midweek interview at RB Leipzig, we're back for the final game of the season. We're taking on Empoli away from home. There's nothing riding on the game at all, so we're just going to celebrate our season at Napoli, the success of the domestic double. There's one thing to make us feel slightly better as well. The Champions League final occurred earlier today, and Lille won it on penalties against Chelsea, so we did lose to the eventual winners. That's just how good that Lille side are. So if we do get a job offer from them in the summer, we certainly would be up for it, but with them winning the Champions League, I'm sure their manager won't be getting sacked. But let's go and get into the game today. There have been some matches already. I'm not sure if Inter have played theirs yet. They have, and they were held again at Fiorentina, so they were dropping points galore, and we would have won the league already with the points total we had at the start of the episode. It looks like Gerardo's going to be the top scorer in the league. Diogo Leite's got the best average rating. Diogo Brass needs 1 assist to be top of the chart, though he's not starting today, though I might be able to change that to try and get him to the top. Leonardo's miles clear on the clean sheets, as we've got the best defensive record in the league. Let's quickly look at the schedule for the few games we played off camera. After the Lazio Cup final, we played Atalanta at home, a 2-1 win via Proyer and Cortinovis, with Atalanta getting their goal in between our two. We drew 1-1 at home to Milan, Ismail Assar with a penalty which was cancelled out almost immediately, but we held on for the point, which proved to be a good result in the end. And in the game we almost saw on camera at the start of this episode, against Frosinone at home, a comfortable 3-0 win. Proyer gave us the lead in the first minute and then set up the other two with crosses, as Diogo Leite scored on the stroke of half time and Ismail Assar got one in stoppage time. We got Sapper Pap in the starting lineup, as well as Invernizzi, the young keeper, and then we also got half a game for Scotty and Coppola, 2 of the 16-year-old youngsters at the club. Hopefully we can do the same as that today. Let's go and have a look at the lineup for the match. We are going to be slight favourites, 1-2 on in fact, but I wouldn't be banking on us winning today, as this is going to be a bit more of a relaxed match. We've dropped Ruben Diaz for Sapper Pap again. We've got La Rocca coming back from injury, but we've left Saavedra in as he's our permanent signing. We've left Invernizzi in goal, the backup youngster, a good young player that came through at the club, and Proyer stays in on the right, and I am going to swap Sarr for Diogo Brass. He's coming back from injury, and we want to try and get him that assist. Cortinovis stays in central midfield for Gaucho, as he's more likely to be here next year, and we want him to get as much football as possible, so Napoli are left in the best possible position. The two youngsters are still on the bench, so Coppola, the 16-year-old centre-half, he can come on at right-back or in holding midfield too. And then the left-back, Scotty, he's a decent player as well. Probably not going to make it at Napoli, but he's going to be a good pro, and he deserves the reward of some football. He's a little bit older at 18, but still got plenty of potential. Sapper Pap hasn't signed a new deal, a bit of a concern for Napoli. He's got 3 years left on his deal, but he's only on £2,500 a week, and he's a little bit unhappy about that. So we've got to try and get him a good deal, but our director of football's obviously not offering him enough. So it may be that whichever club we move to end up signing him, as he's the wonder kid centre-half of world football, but we can't seem to tie him down to a deal, which could make things a bit tricky later on. But let's go and get into the game with that lineup. It's as you would expect in terms of formation. We've got Invernizzi in goal, Chan and Vernier are the fullbacks, with Leite and Pap in the middle, Gomez and Saavedra in the holding role, Cortinovis in central midfield, adapted his role to advanced playmaker on attack, which is what we often do when he comes into the side. Proyer on the right wing, Brass in on the left to try and get that assist record, and Gerardo up front on his own, fresh from missing a penalty in the last game. Let's get into it and see if we can finish our time at Napoli in style. It's a 4-3-3 for Empoli, the traditional formation with a holding midfielder. They've got Pinamonti up front, who caused us some trouble in the last game, and they've got a decent squad in fairness. They've been a comfortable mid-table side, and they deserve their next season in Serie A. They have been threatened with relegation at times in the past, but this season they've done really well. We've got a tunnel interview as most of the lads are motivated. We're really pleased with John Stones as he retires after this game. We did get him an appearance in the last match, just to make sure he had one, in his final season of professional football, and he came on and sprayed the ball around beautifully, playing from the deep line playmaker position. It's Empoli with possession early on from the kick-off. We will have our end of season review at the end of this match. We want to reflect on all the brilliant players this season, particularly those we got on loan via our director of football. He brought in a number of key players, and they've all contributed massively to this success. Some of them familiar, some of them weren't, but they've all played just as big a part. 5 minutes gone, it's 0-0 here. It's been a pretty dull match so far. It's a throw on the right for Chan, 15 minutes past now, not really been any chances in this match. Apparently there have been 5 shots between the two sides, but we haven't seen any of them. Both sides seeming to play a similar sort of tactic, a similar style of play, keeping the ball with a low tempo at the back and just trying to play out from defensive areas. Empoli not able to get out as we're pressing really high up the pitch, although it looks like they've been able to get one over now and they're out and free on the right hand side. We would have liked to play the youngster Marighi in this one, who did have a couple of crucial interventions in the title race, made a couple of fantastic appearances and really put us on course. Papa gives away a free kick, or is it going to be a penalty? We've got VAR there, but as I was saying with Marighi, he has gone away to play for Italy under 20s, so there's not much we can do about him being unavailable. Fingers crossed this won't be given, but it normally is if it goes to VAR. A penalty's been given. Sapper Pap with a disastrous moment after being brilliant off camera in the last game. The youngsters cost us there, and he's going to get a yellow card. Here comes the penalty then, a right-footed taker for Empoli. I'm not quite sure who it is yet. Pinamonti, the striker we highlighted. The young keeper can't save it. It's into the bottom right, and it's 1-0 to Empoli. Not the way we wanted to end the season, but I'm sure we'll get a chance or two yet. Half an hour gone, Diogo Brassa's picked up a knock. There's no need for us to take a risk. Every time he plays now he seems to, so we're going to have to watch out for that. But we're not going to be here next year, so hopefully the club will be able to sell him and replace him with a couple of good young players. It's Empoli coming forward again. It's been a pretty disastrous performance so far. Not as bad as Inter's 6-1 loss at Benevento, when there was something actually riding on the game. Adley was offside despite running back 30 yards, and now we've got an attack with Proyer. A brilliant free kick from 35 yards. He surprised me by shooting, so I'm sure the keeper was as well, but he got down well to his left and parried it away, and then managed to hold it at the second attempt. The Falls are centre half with Diogo late, and we've got to try and build from the back again. Pap goes back to the keeper in Venezi. He's got 3 men to roll it out to. Gomez is one of them. He finds Courtinovis over halfway into Proyer on the right. Was absolutely sensational in the last game. Finds Gerardo and now Saavedra. Into Sarr, who tries to curl it in, but it goes wide at the far post, and it looks like we're going to be trailing at half time and not add to our 91 points this season. It's a throw on the left-hand side. Vernier takes it. We're into 2 minutes of stoppage time now. Gerardo on the left into Sarr. Back to Claudio Gomez. Brilliant curling effort, but it's just wide of the post. There is the half-time whistle then. Empoli score from the penalty spot with their only shot on target. We've dominated the game in the last 20 minutes, but we've not been able to get anything out of it. We're going to tell the lads to show a bit of desire and get back into the second half, hoping they'll all be motivated. One thing I should say from earlier this season, you may remember we had a youngster called Serrano, a young attacking midfielder. We couldn't quite find a space for him in the team, mainly because we weren't playing with that position, and they had 2 new big signings, Lucas and Vinjevic, who've not played for us at all this season, but he is on loan at Bologna, and he scored again today. He's been one of the best young players in the league, and after Marighi got the award for the best young player in the league, so he is going to be part of the first team next year for the club, and we are leaving them with a brilliant young player. Saavedra's got the ball in the middle to Gomez as we continue to try and build a good chance. Out to Vernier on the left, delivers to Proyer, and now Gerardo can't quite get there, and it falls for Courtinovis. He finds Proyer and it's saved by the keeper, behind for a corner kick, but we're starting to apply the pressure. 5 shots on target, but we've not scored the goal, and that corner is absolutely awful, and Proyer's second attempt goes straight into the first man too. Cleared away and the highlight ends, and with 5 gone in the second half, Empoli continue to hold on for their lead. A quarter of the game to go. We're just going to see out this highlight and then we will make a couple more changes. We've got 2 left in the bank. We might not be able to get our youngsters on today, but the result doesn't matter too much, so I still may opt to choose them. Sarr shoots from the edge of the box and is saved easy by Empoli, and with a quarter of the game remaining, it remains 1-0 to the home side. E10's had the worst game on the pitch. He's on a yellow card as well, so Coppola the youngster will come on at right back. Not his ideal position, but we just want to get him more first team football. Still only 16, it's his 4th or 5th appearance in the league this year, and that's absolutely sensational and helping his development no end. Gerardo's had a poor game again as well, did the same in the last match, so Bernard Martin gets a chance to impress. Hopefully the last time we'll be managing him. Proyer with a free kick 25 yards out, it's just wide of the post with 20 to go, and we are going to go for slightly more direct passing now as we desperately try and get back into this game. It's a throw at left back for Vernier, he finds Courtinovis. Back to Vernier again. I know we're 1-0 down, but it has been a pretty exciting match, which is all we could have asked for on the final day, and if we lose in truth, the away fans won't care, they'll just be celebrating their title win. But Bernard Martin has become the hero. The last game we may be managing him. Proyer again with a brilliant delivery from the right, and Bernard Martin heads it in. 2 minutes on the pitch, and he's already changed the game. We're back on level terms, and maybe I underrated that kid. 2 minutes to go, we're into stoppage time. Coppola the youngster's on the pitch. He's got a 14 free kick rating, not bad for a 16-year-old centre-half, and he's got one to deliver here with just 15 seconds of stoppage time left. Saavedra gets it to Courtinovis, it is out to Vernier on the left. What a time it would be to nick the game, but it has been hacked away. It's going to be a 1-1 draw. Bernard Martin keeps our unbeaten record on the last day of the season. We've lost just 2 games all year, and we've been absolutely sensational. Bernard Martin off the bench, the hero. And what a fitting way that is to finish. Someone who absolutely ruined the end of last season by missing a crucial chance in the FA Cup final, a penalty against Arsenal, and it cost us the final in the end. I don't think it was Arsenal actually, I'm not sure where I got that from, but he came back in this one and secured a point on the last day. Bernard Martin goes down as a hero in the end. We dominated the match, but it was crucial we got a point just to keep the fans happy after we wrapped up the title. Bernard Martin's motivated by the team talk, and there's the confirmation at the end of the year. We win the league on 92 points. It was comfortable in the end. Inter gave us a scare for most of the year, but they flattered to deceive at the most important points. A 6-1 defeat against Benevento, which kept them in the league in the end, and we're delighted to secure the domestic double in Italy. Now we can focus on moving to the next country. So the media report very much suggests that we were unlucky not to win. Diogo Brass has a little knock again. We're not going to worry about the press conference. 4 million in prize money and the squad get 8.5. Where is the business sense from Napoli here? It doesn't seem to make much sense at all. But obviously this is going to be our last episode at Napoli. If we don't get a new job, we'll resign anyway, and we'll just wait and see if we can get one in Spain or Germany. With it being a World Cup year, hopefully some jobs will be available later in the summer. But let's very quickly go to the squad review. We just want to focus on the lads that have been here. If we put them in appearances order, Vinicius Leonardo, the goalkeeper's obviously top of the tree, despite sitting out the last 2 games. Next is 3 of the loanees signed by our director of football, Diaz, Vernier and Gerardo, all made sensational contributions. E10, the right back, the only permanent signing since we've been here, he made a fantastic contribution and he's been a really solid pro. Claudio Gomez, who we had at Newcastle last year, signed by our director of football here again on loan, he did a really good job too, an absolute stalwart in the team. Diogo Late, the experienced centre half, he was fantastic as well, and then La Rocca, the other signing, he was a super pro. Ismail Assar had the best average rating of the team, closely followed by Conrad Lima. Again, it's all the director of football signings at the top, the only exceptions being Leighton Brass. The experienced Portuguese men really stole the show. They were fantastic throughout this season. Sapperpat was well above a 7, despite that penalty conceded on the last day. He looks like he's got a brilliant future in the game, and I hope we get to work with him at our next club. Although I'd normally be disappointed at a contract stalemate at our current club, I really think that's going to benefit us, as Sapperpat will surely be signed by any big club, as the big teams look for the best young players in the world. If we go in order of goals, 2 players past 20 this season. Ekede Gerardo with 21, the top goal scorer in the league. Ismail Assar with 21 and a few more in Europe. Both players did absolutely brilliantly. Then Thiago Gaucho and Proyer on 7. Bernard Martin popped up with 5, despite only starting 9 games. games, and then Gomez and Courtinovis got a few from midfield too, with a couple of the defenders chipping in with 3. And finally, in order of assists, Diogo Bras was top with 12, Proyer got 7 and was brilliant towards the end of the season, with Thiago Gaucho getting 7 too, 6 apiece for Sarr and Courtinovis, and Chan the fullback with 4 to his name. In terms of average rating, I know we've looked at it already, but almost all of the key players got a rating above a 7, Proyer and Saavedra, who were rotational options, just below in the 6.9s. I'm really pleased with this squad all season, and they've been an absolute joy to work with. Let me know who's been your favourite player down in the comments, and what a wonderful achievement this double's been, and which country would you like to see me in next, Spain or Germany if I get a choice from the two. I don't think we're going to get that much of a choice, so whichever big club comes along first, we'll probably just accept the offer. Let's hope it's RB Leipzig, as they've got a squad that's all in its prime, and plenty of money for the director of football to add to it. But if you did enjoy this episode and this fantastic season with Napoli, please do put a thumbs up on the video. I really hope you enjoyed this season as much as I did. It's been brilliant to succeed abroad, and I've loved managing in Italy. Well done to Napoli, and thank you to the squad and our director of football who helped piece it together at the last minute on an absolutely shoestring budget. Let me know down in the comments if the Leipzig job excites you. A few of you didn't seem too excited by Napoli, but that one worked out to be a brilliant season, and I'm hoping going to the Bundesliga would be the same, as I'd really love to manage in that league. Subscribe to the channel for daily FM19 content from my 2 long-term stories. This one, the head coach, well, we'll be at a new club in the next episode, so join me on Monday to find out who we're at and which country we'll be starting the new season in. And then our One Club series, part of the furniture with Torquay United. We had our transfer special at the start of the season on Thursday, so do go back and check that one out, as we had a record signing for the club. There's also 3 episodes a week from Cricket 19, the official game of the Ashes. We've already completed a 10-part Ashes test playthrough. That was released over the last few weeks. And then earlier today you should have seen a video at 12 o'clock, which was the start of our long-term career mode series. So do go and check that one out. I'm really enjoying the game, and I hope you enjoy the content too. There's also weekly content from my Snooker 19 career every Friday at 4:30. But a massive thanks for watching and for continuing to support this series for another season. I'm really enjoying it, and I hope you are too, and I'll see you next time for the start of a new season as we look to join a new club in a brand new country.